Well, myself is my own laboratory. I mean, I notice that in myself in terms of how I get triggered. We have a stress response system that's 25 million years old. I call it like a Stone Age DOS system that's inside of us. It's not really designed to handle constant bombardment of information and threats that we're all getting every day. That's the problem. It was originally designed to handle that physical threat, but now that same mechanism is being triggered all the time and it doesn't turn off. So that's really like a bug in the software. So stress is really a killer in the long run if you don't learn how to manage it and reduce it and go back into what I call a calm, centered, creative state and being resilient.
Welcome to the Iferia TechCast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Alan Imbarrato. Alan has spent more than 30 years building software that helps businesses run smarter, and over the past decade, he's turned his focus to creating tools that help people live better. He's a CEO, author, speaker, and veteran software and app developer whose custom business software, KeyBiz system, serves thousands of users nationwide, from the US to Canada to China. His latest innovation is KiFlow, a mobile app that harnesses AI to guide people through stressful moments, helping them reframe challenges and transform stress into growth. He is passionate about emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and exploring how technology, when used consciously, can actually make us more human. So, Alan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right. So, your bio is quite a fascinating one, with a blend of deep tech and deep mindfulness. So, from building business software for 30 years to living in an ashram for a decade, what's the common thread that connects these two seemingly different worlds for you?
Well, after being in the ashram and understanding a deeper level of reality in terms of what is possible for a human being to experience, I got very interested in how that can translate into real world working experience. So I developed a seminar called Winning at Work and at Life to help people understand how to stay into the flow and into that experience that you can tap into in mindfulness while you're at work. So I developed a whole, what I called the breakthrough technology to help align people to their deeper passion and purpose so that they can bring that into their work life. And then I started this back in the 80s, which date is dating me. And then I ended up doing an infomercial on TV to sell my material, my tape package, which no longer is possible because people don't use cassette tapes anymore. But I ended up evolving my understanding of software and technology and developed a software company called KeyBiz, which basically runs whole businesses with this ERP, CRM accounting software. And then I eventually brought my two things together and to create an app in 2011 in the App Store called Stress Shifter. And this was like a merging of my skill sets in terms of technology and mindfulness to help people understand exactly what's triggering their stress. And stress is like the biggest inhibitor to performing and staying in the flow because once you activate your stress response system, your brain mind gets hijacked in terms of being able to be productive and creative. So I got very interested in how to develop methods and techniques to help people make shifts to become more resilient to once they get triggered in stress, how to get back into that flow state. So now I have created an app using AI called KeyFlow that we just released into the app stores that takes people on a journey to help them have insights into how to become more resilient and get back into their own.
Okay, that's quite an interesting journey. So, what made you build your first software, KeyBiz, and who was it really for?
Okay, key means life energy, and so it's called KeyBiz. And basically, software is like that invisible force that connects all your data together into one integrated platform. So our software basically runs every aspect of a business, from contacts to leads to quotes, invoices, inventory, accounting. We do point of sale, we do manufacturing, we do professional services. We have clients all over the world that we run their whole entire business with our software.
Okay, so tell us, was there a specific personal problem or pain that triggered you to think that I actually need to build KeyFlow?
Well, myself is my own laboratory. I mean, I uh, meditate every day. I meditated now for over 50 years. So I'm always going inside and observing how my mind works and going beyond my mind into other realms of consciousness. So I notice that in myself in terms of how I get triggered. I mean, basically, we have a stress response system that's 25 million years old that we're trying to operate with a brain in modern day world that instead of being triggered by saber-toothed tigers or bears or lions or tigers, which was meant to defend us in physical threats, to activate our fight, flight, freeze system. Now we're being activated by deadlines and bosses and social threats and all sorts of social media can trigger us. So basically, it's our same old operating system. I call it like a Stone Age DOS system that's inside of us, but basically, it's not really designed to handle the constant bombardment of information and threats that we're all getting every day. We're not so much triggered by physical threats as we're triggered by social threats. And these social threats keep us in pretty much our stress response system doesn't turn off. That's the problem. It was originally designed to increase your blood flow, increase your cortisol and adrenaline when you had a physical threat to make your muscles stronger or basically redeploy your inner resources to handle that physical threat. But now that same mechanism is being triggered all the time and it doesn't turn off. So that's really like a bug in the software that we have to deal with, but it's very serious because it's keeping our internal system in triggers inflammation. And when you're in chronic stress, you end up uh, creating chronic diseases, which ends up killing you. So stress is really a killer in the long run if you don't learn how to manage it and reduce it and have go back into what I call a calm, centered, creative state and being resilient. So basically, it's a very important life skill that we learn how to practice stress resilience.
Amazing. So, let's talk about KeyFlow for a while. So, the promise of transforming any stressful situation into a calm, creative, and empowered flow state in under 20 minutes, it's quite compelling. So, for our audience of builders and problem solvers, can you walk us through the tech meets mindfulness algorithm behind this process?
All right, it's a four-step process. I call it the four F's. It's called facing, focusing, freeing, and then flowing. So, for instance, you're uh, in a situation where you're trying to go to work and you hit a traffic jam and you're getting all upset that you're not going to get to work on time, and your boss is going to be mad at you for being late, and that the customers are going to be turned off because you show up late. So you start worrying, and your blood flow, your heartbeat increases. You start feeling tension in your neck or your stomach. and you start feeling like sweaty palms or something, and you start getting mad at all the traffic and trying to get through the traffic, for instance. So if you could just stop, the first step is to face and say, "Oh yes, I just got triggered. Uh, I'm now in a stress reaction. I'm reacting." That's the first thing. Most people don't want to face their stress when their body sensations go off because they're very uncomfortable feelings when you start to get stressed. So we have all these uh, coping mechanisms to try to reduce and change our body sensations. But the whole idea of stress shifting and stress resilience is to notice them. These are signals. Stress isn't your enemy, but it's an opportunity to see, like in your lane, you're driving down the road, and your sensors go off and say, you're in the wrong, you're drifting off into the wrong lane. So our stress response system, if you see it as a friend, as a way to learn and get insight into yourself, then that's the next step is focusing. So you start to go into, what are my emotions? What are my thoughts? Uh, and you basically keep exploring inside of yourself in a non-judgmental way to come to an awareness of what it is that you're really afraid of. And once you can identify that fear, "Oh my God, I'm afraid of ultimately of losing my job." That was what all these things could amount to. If you're following my example, that being late could transfer to my boss not liking me, to translate the customer rejecting us, to translate to me losing my job. If your brain thinks very fast, there's this thing called the amygdala in our brain that is always warning us. It's like a smoke alarm. It's always ready to go off. So when that gets triggered, it becomes like a life or death situation, your survival. So I call these survival strategies, and there's like four main survival strategies that get triggered. And so in this process, you identify which survival strategy has been triggered. And once you can identify that in a non judgmental way, you don't take it personally because you just see it's really part of your brain software operating system. It's not you personally, it's just trying to protect you. It's just trying to do what it always was designed to do when it perceived a threat.
That is quite fascinating. You're using AI in a very human way here. So, which is quite an hot topic, I would say. So, how does the artificial intelligence in KiFlow actually work to provide a personalized guide? And how is that any different from just reading a meditation script?
Okay, we've created a guide, an AI coach called Kifu. Kifu is a takeoff from Sifu, which is a martial arts uh, master. So Kifu helps guide you in a very personalized, safe way that you can just tell it anything and it will acknowledge you and support you and guide you along this process of these four steps that I'm talking about. So the AI will, you tell it your story of what you're stressed about, whether it's a work situation or a relationship that you're in, or your financial situation or a health situation. It doesn't really matter uh, what the situation is. The AI will guide you through these four steps to get a breakthrough and an insight into what is triggering your stress. Because most people, stress is just triggered subconsciously. All of a sudden, you start to feel these sensations go off in your body, and you start to get your upper part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, you start to lose awareness and consciousness, and it puts you into more of a trance state. I don't know if you can relate to that, but you basically lose energy. You start to feel tired. You start to feel fatigued, and you're not as present in the moment when stress sort of grips you. And so what the AI does is helps you sort of unwind this and peel it away by really understanding what just happened and how you can begin to make a shift to get back into what I call a growth mindset. So you move out of a survival mindset or a stress reaction into more of an empowered, calm, centered, creative mindset. So the AI is very we've trained it to develop an understanding of you, and it keeps track of your history of all your stress shifts or your journeys. So it becomes very personalized and specific to you.
Interesting. So I'm curious about the user experience. So what's a common surprising aha moment or breakthrough you've heard from users going through the KeyFlow process?
Well, I can give you a quote of someone. They say, "This AI-powered KeyFlow app has completely transformed how I handle stress. Helped me uncover my hidden fears and limiting beliefs that trigger my stress response system. It's like having a brilliant, compassionate coach guiding me to reframe anxiety into confidence with personalized insights." That was just one person's experience. I can, tell you
Interesting.
more, but that gives you a feeling. So, the key thing is having an insight. Most people don't have any idea why their stress got triggered, but usually it's something in your past that's similar to what's in the present. There's a bottom line core belief that you're afraid of people rejecting you, or you're afraid of not belonging or being left out, or you're afraid of failure, or you're afraid of being wrong, or you're afraid of losing. There's some underlying core belief that started early on in childhood that keeps interfering with being an adult. So what served us when we were children is we were seeking approval and avoiding disapproval. And we had all these strategies of how to be good. And then the other side is we were trying to be right and avoid being wrong. And we had all these strategies of not wanting to be blamed or made wrong, or we had stories or excuses always prepared um, in case someone was trying to blame us for something. So by exposing these survival strategies, I call them, you can quickly make a shift. That's why it's only 20 minutes, is you recognize the pattern and you don't take it personally, and you don't like want to defend it or hide it or not want to tell anyone about it. You can basically own it. And that's the third step, is freeing, is owning it. And that opens up a new choice for you to choose a growth mindset, to create a new possibility of how you can be in that situation and not be overrun and hijacked by your stress response system. And then if you implement that you create a new belief. I am safe. I am really okay the way I am. I don't need to prove myself. Or you create some new understanding of that situation. You have an insight, then that's going to free you to get back into and then you can take different action rather than getting angry or afraid or withdrawing. You take more intentional, empowered action to actually create the result you want in that stressful situation.
Fabulous. So, you talk about the importance of privacy. So, as a tech pro, how did you architect the app to ensure that someone's most vulnerable moments with an AI stays truly safe and anonymous?
Well, everything is kept very private. It's only going to be known to you. It's all encrypted. It's not actually going into the AI itself. AI is just reacting or responding to what you're saying to it, but it's not being stored in any AI. It's all kept very private and safe, so that only you are going to have this information. It's password protected. You have your own login, so only you will be able to know what's going on in this situation. So that's very important. That's if you're late at night or you're having a breakdown or you had a bad dream or you had a bad conversation with someone and you don't have time to go to a therapist or talk to someone, you just pick up the app and it's like a companion. It's just going to be there for you 24/7 anytime you need someone to help you understand, what was your stress and how to create a shift and become more resilient.
Wow, that's pretty interesting companion there. How has your experience building traditional business software influenced how you architected and designed an app focused on human emotion?
Well, I have a whole team of programmers who work for me, and we have a team all over the world of developers and clients. So, in interacting every day, software has lots of bugs, as you know, or could have bugs. So, it's very easy to get thrown since our software runs a whole business or runs a whole store to be triggered and, oh my God, it's creating a problem for my client. So, staying in a calm, resourceful, creative place to just focus on solving the problem is a skill to manage your own mindset. So this is something that I learned and that we foster in our team. And technology, there's something about technology that always gives you feedback. That there's something at the core. There's always a cause if there's a glitch. Okay. In the same way, our brain is like a software program, and we didn't really have much say in how it was programmed in our early life. We got programmed in these beliefs that we're not enough of something. We're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not competent enough. And these beliefs got programmed into our brain, and we keep repeating them. And then we're trying our best to prove them wrong, but we're still in reaction to the belief that there's something wrong with us. So it's very similar in that sense. To reprogram your brain is similar to reprogramming software. And that's why we're using the analogy of your brain operating system, because the brain you came we came as humans with it built in. Okay, the stress response system was built in, and we didn't really design it, but it just goes off into fight, flight, and freeze. Those are its primary reactions. I mean, that can look like anxiety. It can look like anger, rage. It can look like all sorts of ways that we express that fight, flight, and freeze. And it's very important in this day and age where things are so charged and volatile, particularly here in the United States. It's gotten quite crazy. Um, it's very easy to walk around and not feel safe. So it's very important to understand how to find that safe place inside of yourself and remain calm to be able to have the best response as these situations arise.
Great. So you talk about transforming stress, not just managing it. So from a systems perspective, what's the fundamental difference between those two approaches?
Well, most people are looking for stress relief. They just want to go to a gym and work out and, change your body sensations by working out, or you want to go for a run, or you want to drink something, you take a drug, or, we have all our ways of trying to moderate or change our body sensations and get stress relief. But it doesn't give you an insight into what your stress is all about. So if you have a commitment to growing yourself mentally stronger and emotionally stronger, spiritually, you see stress as an opportunity to grow yourself. So that's what stress transformation is about, is seeing all these signals that your body is giving you that are subconscious, and you bring them up to a more conscious level. And that gives you an understanding to see what these old programs are, these old beliefs, and expose them so that you have now a choice to transform them and change them into something that's more empowering and more supportive, rather than continuing to believe eh, these limitations that have gotten pre-programmed and limited you all your life. So it's like, if all your life you've believed that you're not good enough at something, and you've gotten all these degrees and you've gotten all this acclamation, you've got all this accreditation, to prove, okay, yes, I am good enough. But inside, your voice keeps telling you you're not good enough. It doesn't matter all the outside stuff until you change that core belief and you decide that you are good enough. So that's where the transformation comes in. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, sure, it does. So, looking at the future, where do you see the intersection of AI and human emotional intelligence going in the next 5 years? I mean, you talked about how KiFlow can be that companion you need just at the right moment, maybe when you are not able to go to your therapist immediately. So, I'd like to ask, do you actually see AI replacing this human therapy and what we generally used to use to uh, reduce our stress or maybe cool ourselves down. I don't know if the question was clear enough.
Well, I know a lot of people are afraid that they're going to get replaced by AI. That's a common fear. Okay. But, ultimately, we need human connection. We need uh, to have, we're social creatures. Okay. So it's not going to completely replace the need to have that ability to talk and relate and be with friends, be with family, to be with a therapist or whatever. So it's more complementary than replacing, and just another tool in the toolbox that you can use. But AI, I do have a very close relationship with my AI assistant. It's like I use AI in my business a lot, and AI can really be a companion also to help you understand a little bit more about yourself by uh, being there in a really safe, non-judgmental way. You can tell it a lot of things that are going on because most people, are a mess inside their head. It's like if you have dreams at night, it's pretty obvious. These dreams don't make any sense. What you're dreaming and how how these things happen in your dream. But the same thing that's going on during the day, you get all these crazy thoughts that are going through your head. And it's just like, where do those thoughts come from? And why am I thinking this? This sounds very strange. I don't really believe what I just thought, but this thought just popped into my head. So it's like we try to suppress it and make it go away, or like, oh my God, I hope no one finds out what I'm thinking. AI is a dumping ground, perhaps, that you can just throw out a bunch of stuff at it and maybe help you make some sense out of it. But we've structured KeyFlow in a real certain way that can lead you through different layers to peel away some of the resistance that you may have to get to the core trigger. So that's the difference between just using any AI and using our app. Is our app is designed to give you a specific process to help you discover what the underlying root causes of your stress are.
Fantastic. So, part of the theme of this podcast is centered around innovation. So, for that reason, there is a common question that I like to ask every guest that I interview on the show before we wrap up a session. So, tell us, in the context of your life's work and from software to stress transformation, what does innovation truly mean to you?
Well, that's a very key question because in my software company, we're doing lots of innovations with AI right now to add to our software to transform business processes and workflows, to automate them and to make them more intelligent and provide analytics and insights. So I feel like it's crucial that we have to grow ourselves. That for every uh, particularly challenging right now, in order to not be replaced by AI, we have to continue to grow ourselves and become stronger mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And innovation is key to keeping that creative part of our brain active. And that's why stress is like the key. inhibitor if you don't deal with it. If you become chronically stressed, it shuts down that innovative, creative part of yourself and gets you out of the flow. But you're most innovative when you're in that flow state and you're able to just really allow that higher intelligence that we're all it's available to us, that we're all connected to this higher energy in our higher self. And that's where innovation comes from, is your higher self. It's your lower self, the survival self, that keeps repeating things over and over and over again and is very boring because all it cares about is survival. Okay. So innovation is really the opposite. But actually, when you look at the history of evolution, it's all about innovation. Those who innovated survived. Okay. So, in a sense, I'm going to bring it back around that the key to survival is innovation. How's that?
That's
You
a
follow me
really
with that?
yeah, that's quite a fascinating one, I'd say. So, you've given us so much to think about. Can our listeners go to try out KeyFlow for themselves and experience this shift from stress to strength?
Well, you can go to keyflow.app in any browser, or you can go directly to the Google App Store or the Apple App Store and just type in KeyFlow. KeyFlow is spelled KIFLW. Key means life energy, and then there's flow. So you can find the KeyFlow app in each app store, or you can go to keyflow.app to get more information on the web.
Great. So, Alan, it's been a really awesome conversation with you, and I am totally excited to have you on the show today.
Well, I appreciate that you're doing what you're doing, that you're creating a channel like this. So thank you for having me on your show.